So I was watching O'Shea Duke Jackson's video of black men having a lot of potential and that we need to start tapping into it. And I suggest you check this video out. It's a good inspirational video and it's part of the reason why I'm making this video right now. But one of the things that I feel as if I can elaborate on is the effect and the result of black men getting their you-know-what together and tapping in their true potential. Now, as you probably have dealt with throughout your entire life, you've been called all sorts of criminals and nitwits and whatever description you want to use that the opposition and in some cases your own women have called you. Or if you are on the other side of the spectrum, you were called coons, sellouts, cornies, lames, whatever. Well, and we all know that as a result of 450 years, if it is going to change, if it didn't change then, especially in the 1960s, then chances are it's probably not going to change much now. I mean, quite frankly, if it didn't change in the late 20th century, then looking at where the black community overall is going and is headed to, I mean, I'm not too optimistic on the future direction of black America. But there is a solution. There is an exit strategy, if you don't mind me saying that. There is a plan B. And quite frankly, at this point, I think that most African American men specifically, because we all know how certain people of certain races feel about you, and even your own women, how they feel about you. So this is for African American men. You all need to, you all do have potential. I'm not going to even criticize and say you need to get your heads out of your you-know-what and do this and do that, but you all do have potential and you all need to start realizing that. Quite frankly, this is probably one of the things and that I need to probably start doing a bit more, which instead of criticizing and beating down other blacks, don't worry, the great critic videos will still remain, but we're going to diversify it like my portfolio. But as far as black men are concerned, you all need to realize that, especially the ones who are working, blue collar, white collar, entrepreneurial, whatever, college, high school, middle school, elementary school, hey kids, you all are worth something and you all need to start acting like it. And why is it that black men, why am I emphasizing how black men are worth something and need to start acting like it? Well, quite frankly, I know the reason why a lot of black men in particular don't live up to their full potential. And it isn't because they can't, because of laziness or of what the alt-right likes to call inferior genes, but it's that they don't see a reason why. They don't see a reason why they should be non-stereotypical. They don't see a reason why they should go to college or the military or trade school. They've seen, and trust me, especially when it comes to young kids, they see how the better blacks are treated in their country and in their community, and it's not good. They're lambasted, they're ostracized, they're in some cases exiled, such as myself, and in some cases harmed or even killed. And most people do not have the mental fortitude to deal with years of such treatment, especially when they're taught by the so-called community that they're going to receive that treatment anyway from the other races, which, let's be honest, the other reason why black people are not encouraged to act like uptight or upright citizens is because they don't see other races appreciating them, at least not genuinely, unless you live in like some western state. Trust me, the more east you go, the more people are going to hate you for trying to do something for your life. And I'm not just talking about the people in the hood or black females either. There are some whites and other races who will hate you because you are non-stereotypical. Reference the northeastern United States. Or the Midwest. And to a lesser extent the South. But the point is this. You can't worry about what other people think about you. You can't worry about how other people perceive you, especially in this country, because you know why? Because the world is watching. The world is watching you, black men. And so the world is watching us and seeing how we react to the bullshit that they realize is going on. Yeah, you may have news reports here and news medias underreporting or reporting the wrong stories about where black thugs get rightfully shot down, but in America. But in the world, they report real stories about black men who are innocent who get shot down. They report real stories of racial discrimination. They report the real shit, and they know. I was trying not to curse, but 6 minutes, not too bad. But the rest of the world knows the stories, the history, and all sorts of other crap that black men face. And do they not realize that? Do you not realize that if black men, us black men, were to get our heads out of this matrix called the so-called black community of appeasing hood rats and dope boys and street cred, all this other bullshit, do you not realize what an effect that would make and what alternatives you would have throughout the world? For example, and I'm going to use this story for instance, actually. This is the most famous story that all of you may realize. In Germany, during the 1930s and 40s, there was this group of people who contributed to the economy, who ran businesses, stores, banks, institutions, and they were among the elite in education and academics and finance, whatever. And did you know that this group, despite being the elite, despite contributing to the GDP of the nation of Germany, that they were hunted down? Oh yeah, a lot of them were hunted down. They were ostracized, they were demonized, they were, in some cases, put in these places called concentration camps. And that's a story that a lot of you have heard throughout history. Well, not all of them were put in concentration camps. Not all of them were sent on death marches. Not all of them were hunted down. A lot of them were able to flee, to escape, to find alternative places to live. How did they do this? Well, because the rest of the world saw how these people conducted themselves, and the rest of the world took note that along with being able to do a humanitarian thing, bringing in people who were refugees for all intents and purposes, that these people could contribute to the economy, that these people could contribute to the infrastructure, that these people can contribute to their institutions of education, health, business, and banking. The list goes on. That these people were assets to wherever they went. And that included the United States. Now you can say the United States fucked over a lot of people, including blacks. You can say that historically. But one group that the United States should be commended for and embracing And a big reason why the United States is at the position it's in today is because of that one group. And that group, if you all haven't figured it out by now, are the Jews. The Jews were taken in by several countries. And note how a lot of those countries, damn near all of them, were back then, and if they weren't back then, they are now, first world nations. And a lot of that is thanks to what the Jews contributed to those countries. And you can say anything you want about if the Jews do this or that to benefit themselves or the country. Look, even if the Jews are doing this big conspiratorial thing in which, they're just helping their own and blah, 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 they have contributed to whatever country they've dwelled in. You can't take that away from them. They have contributed a lot to the world at large. And to this day, they are among the most respected subgroup in the world. It's to the point now where you have Nazi Germany, or former Nazi Germany, which took them 50 years and a fall of the USSR for Germany to rebound as a result of kicking out their best. Germany for the longest time, even when I was alive, I was born in 87, and at the time it was East and West Germany. They were seen as sort of a laughingstock to the world outside of the cars they made. Well, actually at the time, they didn't really fuck with German cars. Anyway, the point is this. Germany suffered a lot because of kicking out their best and brightest. And a lot of Negroes, mediocre Negroes who don't want to do jack shit, they'll say, well, we were contributing, we were good, we were speaking proper English, we were taking our kids to college, we had stable families, and they still hated us. They still hated. Yeah? They hated the Jews too. But you know what they did? You know what the Jews did? They stayed on the fucking course. They stayed doing right. They stayed on their business. And yes, some of them were executed, some of them were slaughtered. But they weren't slaughtered in vain. A lot more Jews were able to get out of Nazi Germany. Land in places like Britain, France, the United States, Canada, Australia, the list goes on. And all those countries that the remaining Jews, the refugees settled in, they brought those countries to first world prominence to this very day. I want to use that story as an example. Hell, at this point, the Jews can easily go back to Germany. But do you know what the Jews do? You know what Jews say? They're like, nah, we're good. we have the entire world that respects us. And we have our own little country called Israel. We have plenty of places to go, Germany. We don't need to go back to you guys anymore. But we'll take your money. We'll take those euros. This is what I want to see from black men. To reach the point where we can say to the United States of America, nah, we're good. We don't need to go back to that country. We have the entire world that will embrace us. We have the entire world that will take us in anywhere we go. Because we straighten up, we got rid of the stereotypes, we stop feeling sorry for ourselves, we stop using all sorts of clutches of white supremacy and man. We stopped using that, and we started getting on our grind. And as a result, the rest of the world noticed. They noticed to the point in which they were opening their doors for us because we had skills, we had potential, we had everything that a nation wants. That's what I want to see from black men. That is part of the reason, a big part of the reason why I make these videos, is to push black men as a collective to the point in which even if the United States doesn't straighten up, the rest of the world will. Even to the point that Europe, for instance, they're doing this immigration crap where they're bringing all sorts of extremist Muslims over. I'm not saying all of them are, but too many of them are. Too many of them. Well, yeah. You're going to have Europe saying, nah, we don't need these Muslims who we aren't even sure if they embrace European ways. We'll get the American black man instead. We'll have a world in which Asia will follow the way of Japan. And how is Japan different from Asia? Well, Asia, for some reason, especially East Asia, has this issue. Or maybe it's just the ones who come to America. I wouldn't be surprised if it's that too. But the People's Republic of China and Korea tend to have this issue of white worshiping. Whereas Japan mostly has this issue of Western worshiping. Whereas as long as you're from the United States or Canada, wherever, the UK, black or white, you're cool. Well, if black men got their shit together, the rest of Asia would fall in line with Japan in that instance. You'd be able to compete with the white man when it comes to getting all sorts of fine, thin Asian chicks. The Middle East. You would have them freaking just... Well, I'll get to them later. Latin America. All those people complaining how certain countries which have black origin, they don't claim their blackness. That shit would change tomorrow. If black people got their shit together, black men got their shit together in the States, you'll see all sorts of random ass countries claiming that, we're part black. We're part black. We're in all sorts of dashikis with the freaking nation state flags, whatever Latin country they're from. You got Mexicans claiming they're part black, Argentinians claiming they're part black, and you'll know that's definitely going to be the case for like freaking Puerto Ricans, Colombians, freaking what was it, Dominicans. Oh yeah, you won't have a problem with that anymore. They'll bring you in, they'll teach you Spanish, they'll pay you to learn Spanish. And as far as Africa goes, and that goes double for the Middle East, you'll just be seeing all sorts of like reparations out the gate, out the ass, and unasked too. I mean, you just have a boatload of money being thrown your way for the shit that they did in the slave trade. That's if, and that's only if, the black African American male gets our shit together. This is the true geopolitics of how the world works. How the Jews were able to escape Nazi Germany and basically look back at it today and just say, is how African American men could have done the same thing. African Americans as a whole could have done the same. Could have done the thing, but African American women decided to join, you know what, and go against their own men. So as far as I'm concerned, this is for African American men. We're on our own. We gotta stop complaining, stop whining, pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps, not to impress Americans, but to get the attention of the rest of the world and follow the way of the Jews. And for everyone else out there, always bet on X.